everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be stretching my skill set and I'm going to be redesigning book covers. But the catch is I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So I have wanted to do something with designing book covers for a while. I just find this concept so interesting. There's this booktuber, Divya, who does this, and she does it in all kinds of really interesting ways. I've just always been so inspired by it, but I have absolutely no graphic design, training, skill set. Anything beyond Canva is like outside of my realm, but I wanted to give it a try and I just wanted to see what I could come up with. So today I'm going to be just randomizing some books just to get some ideas of some covers that I can kind of redesign, make it into something new, do something that I feel like fits the book a little bit better, or just try to challenge myself. So that's what I'm going to do. I feel like I have so many ideas with ways I want to take this. So this very well could be the start of a series of me just kind of playing around and really pushing my skill set. Maybe I'll learn something along the way, or maybe I'll just make a fool of myself out of the way, but either way, I'm gonna have fun doing it. But today I'm just gonna pick some random book covers. We're gonna redesign them. We're gonna see what happens. And yeah, hopefully it's at least entertaining. Okay, so first I'm going to just randomize all of the books that I've read so far this year and just see what I get. And it looks like I got The Maid. The Maid is a book cover that I actually really like. I love the style of this. It's very simple, but I do feel like it speaks very much to like mystery, suspense, kind of clue vibes. And I feel like that's not accurate. I feel like this book's more of a literary fiction book. So I wanted to look for some literary fiction book covers to get some inspiration. Literary fiction book covers are always these like really abstract colors and face shapes with like just clean lettering on them. So this is what I was gonna try to go for. I was gonna try to find something just a little bit abstract. So The Maid is about this woman who is a maid at a hotel. So I wanted to get an image of a hotel, something very simple, something that just felt literary fiction to me. And so I'm using this image. I feel like it does exactly what I want. It's just like the corner of a building. I like this blue color, but I need to adjust it a little bit. It needs to like be toned down a little bit. I don't know. This is like the thing I struggled the most with, is figuring out how much to like blur the background or the color to make it, but this is just where I settled for now. Got to put some font on here, obviously. The Maid, you make Maid big. I feel like book covers always make the really small, and I wanted to get a little fancy font, something that felt a little elegant. This felt really classic and elegant to me. Obviously got to put a novel on there. I don't know why all the books say this. Obviously it's a novel, but it's just a thing that you do. And then I also wanted to put a little blurb, something that felt like something you might see on this cover. So I'm just typing something out, make believe, a heartwarming tale. I don't remember what I wrote, but it's a Frederick Bachman quote. I'm pretending Frederick Bachman did this, and then also doing a little silhouette of a little maid. That just feels good to me. I feel like silhouettes are pretty popular kind of in literary fiction, so this is where we landed. Is it amazing? Is it the best thing you've ever seen? No, but it is something. It's definitely something, and I feel like this is exactly what I was going for, was something that felt a little simple but literary, fancy, classic, little cutesy. I feel like this Maid looks a little cutesy, and this is definitely like a more lighthearted book with some sad moments in it too. So yeah, I am pretty pleased with this. Not too bad. Is it better than the original cover? I don't think so, but I mean, it's pretty good for a first attempt. Okay, so now we're going back to the list of books and randomizing, and I got The Sentence. That's a book I DNF'd and I didn't want to do it, so I'm just gonna randomize again because I control the rules here. Then I got Women Eating, and I actually really love that book cover, and so I didn't think of any way that I could not embarrass myself, so I did it again. Got The Chalk Man. This is my game, it's my rules. I just randomize until I'm happy. The Chalk Man cover is very simple. There's a couple versions. It's a little abstract, it's dark, it's spooky. This is a thriller that has a little bit of horror vibes to it, so I definitely wanted something that spoke to the creepy darkness of it. So I thought about the woods. This is set in the woods quite a bit. A kid finds a body in the woods. I feel like a dark, spooky woods background was going to do exactly what I wanted to do. I like woods on thrillers covers. I feel like that's a pretty popular thing, so that's what I was going for. And then I wanted to make it a little darker, a little more creepy, a little more ominous. I felt like the light was a little bright on this one, so I needed to tone that down. And then here's where I made a decision that I'm regretting now. The Chalk Man, there's these like chalk figures that the kids draw. I was like, what if you just like throw them on the book cover and like fade them out? So they're kind of like a hidden thing. People who know they're there know, but people who don't know don't know. I know and I hate it and I regret it, but let's move on. The text, just really big, the chalk man. This isn't the font I'm gonna use, don't worry, we're gonna change it up. But just getting some setting up here ready, some blurb. I wanna type something ominous on here as well. And then for the font, I wanted it to sort of look like it was written in chalk, maybe even by a child. Not too messy, because you know, it's a book, we've gotta market it, we've gotta sell it, but something a little, just a little handwritten. And I feel like this did that. This feels familiar to me. I feel like thrillers use this kind of writing. This is like the Riley Sager style. And then needed something ominous on here, something to grab your attention. It started with chalk figures, it ended with death. I felt like that was dramatic. Put a Stephen King blurb up here. I swear I've seen Stephen King write this exact blurb across many books, that you'll sleep with the lights on. And Stephen King and CJ Tudor's books feel kind of similar to me, so I could see Stephen King blurbing CJ Tudor's work. So this is what we came up with, something dark, spooky. You can see the chalk figures back there, little stick figures, but they don't like scream in your face. I don't know if I regret them or not. Part of me still likes them, part of me hates them, but I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Does this look like a book cover to you? I feel like if I squint my eyes, it kind of looks like a book cover, but if I look too closely, I'm like, no one would ever sell this. But overall, I'm pleased with this. I feel like this almost looks like something that you would see on Wattpad. All right, back to the randomizer. This time we ended up getting Good Rich People. This is another cover that I really, really love. I think the current cover is beautiful for this. I love the coloring of it. I love the style. I love the headless people. So this one was gonna be really hard to top, but I had to, you know, try. So I'm starting with an image of a fountain in the background because this book begins at a fountain, something bad happens at a fountain. I just felt like it made sense to me. Also, this has 3 tiers and it's a 3-worded title, so I thought that might be kind of cool to layer it on that. And this kind of green and gold color, I feel like I see on thrillers quite a bit. This like the greenery, I don't know, it just felt familiar. So I wanted to have like a really dark greenery in the background. Getting a blurb on here this time, I acted like Samantha Downing blurb this one because I feel like she would love this book. It feels very familiar to Samantha Downing's kind of style. And then I needed to switch the coloring up a little bit. This one I had a trouble with. I couldn't figure out how dark was too dark or the highlights being too bright. I don't know, I feel like this was okay. I changed the color of the author's name because I got some inspiration from the original cover and I thought that was cool. And then for the font, I wanted to do something that felt elegant because it is Good Rich People, but I didn't want it to feel like a magazine cover. Like I still wanted it to feel like a thriller. I don't know if I accomplished that, but this felt okay to me. This one that I ended up with, I felt like it kind of did what I wanted it to do. It made it seem a little bit more fancy, but it still felt like a book cover to me. But this definitely feels like a mass market paperback that you might pick up for like $5, and it's probably not going to be very good. I actually really love this book and I love the cover of it too, so I definitely didn't do it justice, but this one is going to be hard to beat because it's a very kind of complex book cover. It's something that is a little more advanced. So I did the best with the resources that I had. I do feel like it looks like a book cover, but it doesn't feel like this book exactly, kind of a little bit, but it feels kind of like a Lisa Unger book to me for some reason. I don't know why. I've only read like one thing from Lisa Unger before, but this feels like a Lisa Unger book cover. But hey, at least it feels like a book cover. Okay, back to the randomizer. This time we ended up getting Manhunt. That is a book that I DNF'd and I didn't want to do that one, so I ended up randomizing again. The Collected Schizophrenia is another book that I DNF'd, so doing it again, and we ended up with The Burning Girls, which is another CJ Tudor book. So we ended up with 2 CJ Tudors. And this is a book cover that I also really love as well. I feel like it's a little bit different. The UK version I don't like as much. I like the US version a little better with the white and the orange. But this is a religious thriller. This one also feels a little bit like horror. So I wanted to do some kind of like churchy imagery at first. I was trying to figure out how to have like a spooky church look to it. Something that seemed creepy, but I don't know, just looking at the church on this didn't feel like a book cover to me. So then I had this wild idea. I was like, what if we just use like a dark path, something that feels like small town, and we put some kind of like graphic element, some kind of illustration of a church on there so that it's like giving you the creepy vibes, but then you still get a little bit of church symbolism, a little bit of church imagery. Then we ended up with fire. I completely abandoned that idea. I was like, what if we put the church on the fire? I hated this. I thought this looked absolutely terrible, so I tried another one. I thought this looked like a dollar bill, and that was stupid. So then I was like, what if we use smoke? But nothing was really working for me, so I just turned the fire black and white, and I actually really like the way this ended up. Darkening it a little bit, kind of changing the contrast on it and the color temperature to try to make it feel like the right balance between smoky and fiery. And then wanted to throw some text on here, obviously. When I put it on here like this felt like a poetry book to me. Like, why does this look like an Amanda Lovelace poetry book? So we had to center the text. It just wasn't working being on the right. Had to center it. And then I wanted to do a cool kind of font for this, something that felt kind of creepy, something that felt kind of like fire in a way. So I ended up with this kind of like scratched lettering. It looks kind of like you tore it out of a piece of paper. And then I wanted to use the orange colors to bring back the thought of the fire. Now I feel like it looks like a TJ Klune book cover to me for some reason, like his older stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work, but this is what we landed with. Alex North quote up on top, acted like Alex North blurb this one because CJ Tudor's books kind of remind me of Alex North's style as well. So this time we did Alex North, just a quick little CJ Tudor's best yet. I feel like that's a classic little blurb that you see on books, and I do feel like this is CJ Tudor's best book so far. So that is a true blurb from me that I am pretending like Alex North said it. Overall, I don't hate this one, but I don't love it. And I feel like we're trending down. I feel like things are getting worse and worse, and we still have one more to go. So back to the randomizer. This time we ended up getting The Long Weekend by Jillian McMillan. I just recently read this one. I don't really have any feelings about the cover. I don't feel like it's a great one. It's not a terrible one. It's also the name of a movie apparently, but it's just kind of like the woods. It just gives you woods vibes. So I wanted to do something that felt a little more close to the book for me. So I pulled up the cabin imagery. This book is set at a cabin. It's isolated in the middle of nowhere. So I thought that was good. And I wanted to make it really dark and spooky looking and make the font really big on this one. Wanted to change this up also to something that felt a little less stiff. So this kind of looks like a little bit handwritten, a little bit blurry, like you wrote it with a messy marker. And I don't know, that works for me on thriller covers if the font looks a little messy and not super clean. I kept flicking back and forth trying to look for inspiration. On this one I did a little blurb that's like from the New York Times bestselling author of, like it has on the original, because I wanted to try that since I haven't done that yet. Obviously get the little a novel in there and place it in a little random spot. I kind of like where I placed it on this one. It feels a little different from what I did in other ones, and this feels a little bit more like a book cover to me when it's like spaced out in different ways, so I was kind of proud of that. I do wish I would have incorporated the little kind of teaser ominous text that it has on the original, because I really like how it says 3 couples, 2 bodies, 1 secret, but I didn't want to copy that exactly and I couldn't think of a way to do that better, so I didn't do that this time, but I think it would have been cool to do something like that as well. This one to me feels a little bit like a Wattpad cover again. I feel like a lot of these look like Wattpad covers, and that's probably because people who are designing covers for Wattpad are probably using Canva, so I see how that happened to me. I could kind of see this maybe being a book cover. I maybe should have changed the colors a little bit. Maybe if the font wasn't so bright white, it would have blended a little bit better, but I don't know. It's not bad. I'm still kind of proud of this one. And honestly, I feel the same about my version as I do the original. I didn't really love the original and I don't really love this one, so that's not bad. All right, so these were all my book covers, and I feel like if you look at them all together, they don't look that bad. Looking at them individually, you might critique them, especially when they're beside the originals, but all together, it's like, those kind of look like books. I do also feel like it makes it look like I got worse as I went on. I feel like I started strong and then just kind of lost my mojo by the end, or started overthinking a little bit too much. The Maid and the Chalk Man I feel like are my personal favorites, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know if you think they look like book covers. Let me know which ones you like, which ones you hate. Are there any that you think are better than the original book cover? Probably not, but you can pretend if you want to make me feel good. But yeah, that was a ton of fun, and I really loved doing this little thing outside of my comfort zone, stretching my skills a little bit, having fun with book covers. I just love book covers in general. I love looking at them. I love the way they look on shelves. I love to see when they're released for new books. I just really like the art style between them. So this is definitely something I think I want to continue. Let me know if you have any ideas. I definitely have a few ideas up my sleeve of ways I want to continue this series going, but hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did, and hopefully you won't make fun of me too hard in the comments if you think any of these are absolutely terrible. But that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.